ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणम् परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त की जय। Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 69 and 70. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pasyate mune. या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने। या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने। Word to word. Yeah, what? Nisha is night. Sarva, all. Bhutanam, of all living entities. Tasyam, in that, Jagrati is wakeful. In the wakeful, Samyami, in the self-controlled. Yasyam, in which Jagrati are awake. Bhutam, Bhutani, all beings. Sa, that is Nisha. Night, Pasyata, for the introspective. Mune, the sage. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. And the time of awakening for all beings is the night for the introspective stage. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. And the time of awakening being is the night for introspective sage. There are two classes of intelligent man. One is intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and the introspective, and the other is introspective and awake to the cultivation of self-realization. Activities for the introspective sage or thoughtful man, night for persons materially absorbed. Materialistic persons remain asleep in such night due to their ignorance of self-realization. The introspective stage remains alert in the night of the materialistic person. The sages feels transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture, whereas the man in material activities, being asleep to self-realization, dreams of varieties of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy, sometimes distressed in a sleeping condition. The introspective man is always indifferent to materialistic happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material opulences. Next verse number 70. Aporyamanam achala pratishtam. Lord is giving the example now from that verse. Samudram apa pravishanti advat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sasantim apnoti na kama kami. Aporyamanam achala pratishtam samudram apa pravishanti advat तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिम् आपनोति न कामकामी. One more time. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sajantim apnoti na kamakami. Word to word. Apuryaman, always being filled. Achala pratishtam. Chala and achala. Achala means not moving. Chala means moving. So here achala pratishtam, which one is that ocean. So achala pratishtam, steadily situated on the sage or the self-realized soul. Samudram, the ocean, apa, water, pravishanti, enter, advat, as, tadvat, so, kama, desires, yam, unto whom, pravishanti, enter, survey, all, sa, that person, shantim, peace, apnoti, achieves, na, not, kama, kami, one who desires to fulfill desires. Translation by Prabhupada. A person who is not disturbed with incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. To repeat, a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enters like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strive to satisfy such desires. Purport by Prabhupada. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same. Steady, it is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of the brink. This is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has a material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed with such desires. Because of fullness, a Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything, because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers, but that flow into the ocean. But he is steady in his activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by the desires for sense gratification. This is the proof of a Krishna conscious man. One who has lost all the inclinations for material sense gratifications, although the desires are present, because he remains satisfied in transcendental loving service of the Lord. He can remain steady like the ocean, therefore enjoys full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires, even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires and therefore they are in perfect peace. Beautiful verses. Sri Chaitanya Manovishnam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Swapadantikam Rupa Prabhupada Vijaya Prabhupada Gaya Gaur Bhaktam. The second chapter, giving the contents are summarized, explaining all the sections. We are in the last section of this chapter, where Lord is giving the after Arjuna surrendered to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna in the 2.7 Karpanya Dosho Pata Subhav Tuchamitvam Dharma Sammoda Cheta. He is bewildered in what is his duty, what is not his duty, what is supposed to do, what he should not do. He has understood his weakness and he is submitting. He doesn't want to stay as in weakness or as a miser. He wants to become enlightened and intelligence is purified so that he can make the right decisions. So that he is submitting. Before that, he had 5 reasons, 5 doubts why he doesn't want to fight and he couldn't go further. And then he surrendered. So that's the first section is 1 to 11. Arjuna's further doubts. And then the next section from 11 to all the way up to 30, 11 to 30 is Sankhya Yoga or soul and the body, distinction between the matter and spirit, soul and body. So Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga. So analytical study of the body and the soul, how body is temporary, soul is permanent. So that is being explained in the next section very systematically. Then further Lord explains now after understanding the body and soul, now one should perform a duty about karma. And so Lord is explaining from 30 verse to 38. Lord is explaining about the karma of the karma. So duty of Arjuna, duty of a Kshatriya in this particular case. And then verse number 38 or 39 to all the way to 50 is explaining 53. They explain Nishkama Karma Yoga. Now you have understood the body and soul, self realization, and you have understood now you should do the duty because soul is active. So even though you are not the body, you still need to work, but how you work is important. So that's why he has explained. Even if you put the soul on the side, still you have to do duty. And so in both ways, the Lord has explained about karma. You must do the duty. Now, but what kind of duty you need to do? Otherwise, what the result will be? So that's why he's explaining that in the next section from verse number 39 to 53, 54. Nishkama Karma Yoga. Bhagavad Arpita Nishkama Karma Yoga. Pretty much, Lord is speaking. That means not desiring, engaging in activity, but not attached to the results as under the instruction of the Lord and the Shastra and representative engaging in duty without attached to the results. Whatever results may come, we will accept, but we will follow the direction of the, like that's way the Acharya say, like apprentice, we are an apprentice. Apprentice means one who is getting trained. New person joins the job, new person joins the new business, anywhere, in kitchen or any field. Apprentice means we are supposed to be trained under somebody. So actually, the human life is right now. So our life should be always like if we should feel, we should think like apprentice. We should be always trained by somebody else. Then we can do it properly. If we think we know everything, then that's always the person who is always listening. So is always learning. He can be always progress. So is always active listener. Then and actively learning things. Then he can be a proper servant leader. Then he can be a proper leader in any field. If he himself is not learning and listening, then how we can learn, how we can improve, how we will know what he should not do, what he should do. So that will be difficult. Because so many things we have to keep learning, keep correcting, keep reforming it. So as we get to know more and more, we become enlightened. We become so. Same thing here, Nishkama Karma, the Lord is explaining now. You understood karma, now you should do the duty, which Bhagavad with the Lord in the center. For him, you do the duty. That's what Lord is explaining. Now, uh, Arjuna is asked question 54. That now you are told all this, but how do I know whom I should take training from? Whom I should be an apprentice under? Training under whom? What kind of manager, what kind of person that be? How do I know? Can you tell me about the characteristics of that person, self-realized person? You're talking about prajna, so or intelligent person. You're talking about in different words, Sanskrit words. So what is that person? How does he walk? How does he sit? How does he talk? So these are three things, 2.55. So from 55, 54, 55 to all the way 72 is actually Bhakti Yoga. Characteristics of self-realized person or how to attain samadhi. You can write title in any different ways, but the point is the same. Yeah, advance. So you see the gradual progress of one is feeling weak, one is completely devoid of Krishna consciousness. And then he's surrendering, he's realizing that he's weak. Now he wants to gain strength, he wants to understand what is right, what is not right. Then, then he's been enlightened with what is difference between body and soul. Then he's enlightened how he should do some work. He cannot give up. Then he's further enlightened what that work should be, how that work, in what consonant that should be done. Bhagavad Gita. And then further, because in under what guidance, under which kind of person you should do this, so that because otherwise you can follow anybody. Everybody may claim as manager, or everybody claim that I am self-realized. Then how will you differentiate if you don't know? So that's why now almost so many verses. For previous sections it was not, but to understand the pure devotee, understand the character self, you need to know so many details, so many examples. So Arjuna is asking, not in brief, in great detail, he's asking day-to-day basis, how does he react to a situation? How does he walk of his life on day-to-day basis? How does he react? How is he situated internally and externally? So all this is putting किं प्रभासेत् किम् आसीत् किं व्रजेत किं स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्तस्य केशव स्थितप्रज्ञ that is the word exactly. The last section you can call sthitaprajna is the last section. Characters and self-realized soul. So in this way 5 sections are laid out in this chapter pretty much. Lot is explained, that's why content of sunrise karma yoga, gnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Last section is actually about Bhakti Yoga. And the advantage also, Lord is explains in the 40th verse. Before speaking about Nishkama Karma Yoga, Bhagavad Arpita Nishkama, why should I do? Why should I not be attached? I am the one who is working very hard. Lord is giving, no, actually, at least you will get human birth next life. You will be saved from greatest danger. If you don't even get human birth, then you can't even think. There is no thought process. Mechanically flow through. As per some of the species, it takes so many lifetimes. In that species, they will run like the trees. Also, so many species are there within that. They have to go through the cycle all the way. Labdhva after so many lifetimes, 8.4 million species from aquatics to come to human being, it takes so long. So, because if one falls down to lowest aquatic, then to come to the human being, it takes so many lifetimes. One has to take to come to that. So that's a precarious situation. So that's why one should be come to this understanding of goal of human life. So that's why today's verse is speaking of Yanisha. What is this night and day? What does it mean? That example, what is given. So and then it is given further example with how the desires are controlled like the ocean and river. These are 2 examples are given, day and night and river and ocean. Because almost from 54, 55 verse, 50, 56 verse, Lord is explaining how these desires are coming, how different things are happening with the self-realized soul, and how is reacting is been explained in different verses. And the first thing has been mentioned, first thing is immediately mentioned. He doesn't operate, he doesn't have independent plan. He doesn't operate on his own mind's whims, thoughts. No. Because soul is going to active, that means mind will bring his thoughts, definitely. There is no doubt about it. For most of the time, that's what it will do. But once we go on this path of self-realization, then mind will stop the unwanted thoughts, it will bring the pure thoughts. But for otherwise, this will mind will bring, that is mind's job, thinking, feeling, willing. It cannot stop. Mind won't be idle. So then, prajahat manakaman sarvan parth. Mind should give up these own ideas, own independent plans and thoughts. It should be guided by the Shastra, Sadhu, Guru, especially the advanced devotees self-realized soul. So now then, because that person whom we should take guidance is been explained from 56 verse onwards, where it is explained, the example is given that how his senses are controlled, that uh, यथा कूर्माणि अंगानि सर्वसः so what is that यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मो अंगानि संहरते चायं कूर्मो अंगानि so how the tortoise control its senses. Then further I explain is also given with an example of Vishaya Vinivartante Naraharasya Rasavarjan Rasopisa Param Drushtva Nivartate. Material thoughts will be there, material activities will be there, but because of developed higher taste, you will not be agitated by it. Then nicely example is given that if the person, diseased person goes to the doctor, what doctor will give? You have to take this medicine, you have to take this diet. Uh, but the diseased person, when the diet and the medicine is given, he says, the doctor says, no, you should not eat sweets, you should not eat this. The diseased person will like it. But at that time, he has no choice. But he doesn't like it. He is inclined to eat the sweets, inclined to eat what he likes. But he is not supposed to eat. So that he's been restricted from sense enjoyment. So in the beginning, it feels like this diseased person. We are in that current diseased condition. We are being accustomed to do certain things in certain way. Right now, that's but now we have to take the training from a person who is fully liberated from. He knows exactly what is to be done. How he is always sense control. He has developed higher taste. Has no more material engagements of his mind or his thoughts or his senses. Intelligence is everything is purified. Is fully aligned with. Is always engaged in the Lord service day and night. So that we are coming to that point, which is today's verse 69. But before that, this connection we have to understand why Lord is speaking all these verses. So there, restricted sense enjoyment, like the diseased person is being given. Okay, you have to restrict from eating this, and you have to take the medicine. Neither he like the medicine either. So the medicine is we have to take the to the chanting of the holy name. We have to take to the serving the Lord. We have to take to the reading the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So all these processes are there. We have to worship the Lord. We have to take darshan of the Lord. We have to so that is the beginning stage as well. It is clearly recommended that one should take darshan of the Lord regularly, once a week, once a day, ideally, and regularly one should also try to serve, if not once a day, once a week at least, or twice a month, if it is not possible because our senses are so active and it has been trained to engage in all the material thought, material activities. Now that has to be transformed. For that means we have to engage in the activities of the spiritual activity, which is connected with the Supreme Lord. The body is engaged, the mind is engaged, senses are engaged, so that is developed. Otherwise, initially they restricted because we are restricted to eat certain things, we are restricted to drink certain things, we are restricted to go. Otherwise, the planning is there. Prabhupada says Churchill was planning, Winston Churchill was planning, Napoleon was planning, Hitler was planning, Gandhi was planning, you name it, everybody is planning. Then what has happened? So all their planning, where did they go? So everybody failed, baffled. In the end of their life, we all know the history. So it's the same thing. When the alignment is not there with the Shastra and Sadhu Guru, yes, Shastra Vidim Muchri Vartate Kama Karda, Na Siddhim Namapna Sukham Parangatim. So even material enjoyment also one cannot get if it is misaligned from the Shastra. And so Shastra says you need to do these things. According to this, you have to eat these things only, you have to drink these things only, you have to watch these things only, you have to engage in recreation in this way only. All these are prescribed. But in modern day world, none of these are followed actually. None of these are followed. Then the suffering and anxiety. Sada samudvignadiyam asatvihat. Automatically anxiety, suffering will be there. It will not be stopped. And if they don't atone it, it takes lifetimes, not this lifetime. If the person who has performed sinful activities, if they don't atone for it in this life, this will accrue with the double. It will accrue. In the next life, they have to suffer more. Suffer more. So that person doesn't realize because the training is not there. But Shastra is very clear about. So that's a Lord is speaking all these details that they will not have any inclination to engage in material Vishaya because he has developed higher taste. So initially it may be like a feeling like why am I restricted from this? I don't like it. But still we keep trying. We may fail a few times in between here and there, but we should still go on like the patient. Patient may want here and there he may eat one sweet or this thing that thing, but he should go on with that. Sometimes antibiotic depending on the disease, how strong disease, how serious disease. Accordingly, different treatments, different diet is given. So only liquids has to be taken, no solids can be taken. So same way here also, the spiritual self-realized person is fully aware of what the instruction of the Lord and Shastra is. Then because he has developed higher taste, he's not attached to it. He's not. He's fully liking it actually. This restriction is liking it because he has developed higher taste. Because if I develop a taste for eating only what is offered to Krishna, then why will I want to eat anything? We'll never want to eat because we have developed that, understood so much taste that especially the person who is self-realized, the person who is fully involved in the Lord, when he cooks, when he or she cooks, the result will be something completely. And they also, those who are self, that the way they taste also, always chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the taste prasad. And you relish so much that actually you will be completely in bliss. You can't get that anywhere by eating anywhere outside, anywhere which is not offered to Krishna, especially in this way. Transformation of cooking is actually, Lord will accept the person because he is desiring to cook, desiring to give the pleasure to the Lord. Every minute of his cooking, every minute of whenever he's there, the Lord. With that intention and desiring, taking the instruction of the Acharya Parampara to offer, to serve, so this, he has developed that higher taste. This is my service to the Lord through the parampara has been given. I should not waste not even a single moment in that. So naturally, that's how Prabhupada cooked. That's why whatever Prabhupada cooked, it is extremely tasty and one is fully satiated, even though only little prasad. One is no more hunger left. Material hunger is not there and spiritual also very much surcharged. So this is what higher taste means. It is the intention in which it is done for the pleasure of the Lord. And then one who takes part in that particular prasadam, the transformation is completely different level. So that's it. This is the higher taste. One has to develop. That's it. There's a book of Kurma book. I think Kurma who have written higher taste book called higher taste with recipes. So this is what one has to develop higher taste so that he has to keep changing the consonants in which in the way we do service, in the way we take darshan, in the way we chant, in the way we serve, in everything. Because this is to give pleasure to the Lord. But most of the time we are thinking, what will give pleasure to me, to my senses? What will I like to eat? What will I like to? How will I like to enjoy? How will I like to sleep? We're constantly meditating. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do? Tomorrow, where I will go? Tomorrow, what will I enjoy? So all this constant planning is going on, but very much not in alignment. We're not in ready to plan and give pleasure to the Lord or His representatives. That is not there. So because higher taste is not there, they're still mechanical. We are following the process, but that higher taste is not there. But if it is a gradually, we have to keep developing these thoughts. Mind has to churn these thoughts. This churning has to happen through the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. If you read carefully that verse and purports and praying to the acharyas, then this churning of thoughts in the intelligence mind will help us to focus more in our day to day, and consciousness will change gradually. It's a gradual process. Suddenly, it's not going to happen. So, in the beginning, yes, it feels like restricted. Why am I restricted? I can't do this, I can't do that. So many things. It's like when we caught by shackled, it feels like that in the beginning of Krishna consciousness. But if he sticks to the process, that's why in the beginning, especially, he should go more to a temple, be in the association. He should go more and more in the Sankirtan. He should distribute books. He should be in the dancing and chanting. He should be taking the feast more and more, taking more prasadam. That's why that verse is also there immediately after this. Prasade sarvadukkanam hani rasyopajayate buddhir paryavatishtate. Then the senses are controlled. Because of that, he is happy. Senses are satiated. He is fully satisfied. His mind is not is subdued. His intelligence is purified. Buddhi paryavatishtate. Because he's satisfied. If we are not satisfied, we are always anchoring. Tomorrow will I get this one to eat? What prasad I will get? We are desiring. So where will I go next? So we are always desiring something else. We are not satiated. But if we are rightly situated, we will be satiated with everything, whatever Krishna is providing. Prabhupada is satisfied wherever he is. Prahlad Maharaj is satisfied with everything, whatever going on. Even difficulties, whatever is going on, he is fully satisfied because he is seeing everything as the Lord's Lord is providing whatever, everything. Let it be so. By the will of the Providence, by His arrangement, everything is happening. So, so his happiness, just as he's not agitated by it, because he has developed it, he's taking it as the Lord's plan, and he's under the guidance of Narada Prahlad Maharaj, Haridas Thakur, under the guidance of Advaita Acharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that, we're always under the guidance. Then why should I agitate? If the child is agitated, because he's always thinking, my mother is there, why should I? When he's hungry, he's calling out to his mother, but we don't feel like we are child. We feel like I'm grown up. I'm a master. Mm. So I can do. I can do. I know what I should do. That is our tendency. That is the tendency which is causing us the problem. If we feel helpless like a child, then our consciousness will be right. If we feel like we are young and grown up and we know what is better for me, then that causes the problem. That causes the diversion. With our planning, executing, with our desires, with our enjoyment spirit, individual plans, this will go on. So that is the point here. Self-realized person doesn't do that. So neither Sri Prabhupada did, nor Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur did, none of the acharyas did, nor his disciples did. They stick whatever Prabhupada, if Prabhupada has given certain instructions, these are the things you should do. Establish this temple or distribute these books in the unlimited preaching. So many things Prabhupada has instructed different disciples. The first duty is they're always meditating on these thoughts. How I'm going to do it. Who can help me? How they will help me? What way I will do? How can I fulfill? They're constantly meditating on these thoughts. Uh, this is the self-realized person's activity because he has developed higher taste. That he's not thinking every day what I'm going to eat, tomorrow what I'm going to eat, today I will where I will sleep, today where I will go, tomorrow where will I go. He's not thinking any of that. He's thinking, meditating and trying to contemplate how I can please the spiritual master, how I can please the Acharya Parampara. Mm. What is the next festival? How I'm going to observe? What will I do? What is my duty? What is my duty? He's constantly reflecting and meditating on these thoughts. So that is actually self-realized person. We can observe the self-realized person and then how they conduct their business. They're not agitated. They are not in anxiety. So many things will go on. So as Prahlad Maharaj says, Naivo Dvije Para Duratya Vaitaranya Tadvirya Gaya Mahamrata Magna Soche Tato Vimukata Indriyartha Maya Sukaya Bharam Buddhato. Naivo Dvije, I'm not in anxiety. Actually, I'm in anxiety of all these conditioned souls, what I'm saying. Paraduratya, other suffering and distress I am not able to see. I'm in anxiety how I can actually remove their suffering and anxiety. How can I bring them to enlightenment? So the conditions all is that's why Anisha Sarvabhutanam Jagrada Samyami has been mentioned. Uh, what is night for the um, materialistic person is actually day for the spiritual person, or the opposite also is mentioned, because what is night means is ignorance, because always in the daytime what a materialistic person is doing, this is always engaging in material activities, how to enjoy, how to get money, how to, and then night time is sleeping. So that is day and night business. Here day and night means actually sleeping condition, ignorance, and awakening condition. Or because spiritual person is always in spiritual activities, devoid of any material activities. Even though he may be working, he may be doing his business, but he is doing for Krishna. He's not thinking anything for himself. He is thinking how I can offer, how I can do, how I can maintain. So even they may work, IT or business, so many devotees work. Even when Prabhupada was there, they were working. Jan Prabhu was working, my Guru Maharaj was working, Gopal Krishna Maharaj was working. Many devotees were working. So many were working, giving the money, giving everything. They are not feeling, why should I work? And Prabhupada said, stop, you don't need to do anymore. Then they stop. Always under the guidance. So that is the difference. What is night means, night is only sleeping, is ignorance. That is what is compared. What is night, what is day means material activities, spiritual activities. That is the difference. The person is always, a materialistic person is thinking, what is these guys are doing? And they are simply chanting and hearing and They don't have any job to do. They don't do, so they are wasting their time. They don't know how to lead the life, how to enjoy life. So that's what they are thinking. So because they have the materialistic thought, they are thinking this person is wasting their time. He is actually in ignorance. Is night. Is night for them. But spiritual person is thinking actually this person is not realizing his ultimate, ultimate. Nate vidu swartha gatim durasaya vairartham dayatam there upaniyan. Nate he has not realized what is the goal of life. What is going to happen at the end of life is not realized. So he has to leave this body is not realized. So he has to take another birth. So that's why we have to reject all these. So many philosophies are there. So Buddhism, Mayavadism, Brahmavadism, so many isms are there because all this cannot stop this repetition of birth, death, old age, disease. Lord is telling Uddhava also. Na Sankhya Yoga, na Swadharma, na yoga, na Tapa, na Yoga. So no Ashtanga Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, none of this can please me. Mam Bhakti Yogam Mamojjata. Only thing which can please actually with devotion. That is the only thing can please me. Anything else you do, that is not going to please me at all. Lord is telling Uddhava. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling the same thing. Srimad Bhagavatam also everywhere that is stress, same thing is stress. So anxiety is coming, we are accepting the impermanent things, thinking that now, so I have worked enough, then in the night I can sleep. But the self-realized person is always how much time purpose left? Only hardly 2 hours. Sometimes he didn't even sleep. Mm. So for us, we are not at that level, so we can sleep 5 to 6 hours. That's the max. And it comes by regulation. It comes by practice. Eating also not more than required. Nighttime we should eat less or no eating at all. We may take a fruit or we may take small teeny bit things, but breakfast can be taken, lunch can be taken properly, so that we can maintain. Because otherwise, more you take grains, more you feel drowsy, more you feel sleepy. You can't work, so you can't engage in the proper process. In devotional activities, you can't engage. Body won't support. So that's why we have to see according to our bodily needs, how much we need. To that degree only we should take. If anything more we take, it will cause problem. So that control should be there. That's why this controlling aspect has been mentioned here. Almost pretty much every verse. Prasada sarvadukkanam hani. One should be satisfied very much with the limited things. Not more, not even with prasadam also. We should not eat more than required. If we eat more than required, it's a problem also because uh, we can't do properly justice to the devotion service or please the acharya. That's not possible. So further verses 65, that is prasada sarvadukkanam. Then further Lord is explaining about the yes, indriya samyamya, indriya ardhe indriya tasya prajna pratishtita. One who self-realizes, senses are controlled, mind is subdued, intelligence is purified. Is a no, the sense enjoyment is completely fully stopped because he is getting so much pleasure in serving the Lord, engaging in activities. He is not agitated by anything, happiness, distress, whatever may come in his accord. Sometimes distress may be there, body may be suffering. So, but he is not stopping anything. Prahlad Maharaj is going through so much suffering. Pandavas are going through so much suffering. So, Bhishma Pitama says, Aho Anyayam, Aho Kashtam, you Dharmanandana, how much suffering you have gone through. You are Dharmaraj's son, but still you have to go through so much. So they have gone through so much, but did they stop their activity, devotional activity? No, they didn't stop it. They went on further executing devotion to please the Lord. So they are not affected by happiness, distress, because day and night they are engaged in always activities in relation with the Supreme Lord, in relation with Shastra, in relation with all. That's why they are always under the apprentice. They never thought we are perfected. They never stopped taking guidance. Only the person who is thinking that I know better. So they will not take guidance. But the person who is always feel helpless, then always Pandavas are always taking guidance from Vyasdev, Dhaumya, Narad Muni, different stages. They're always inquiring. So this is the business. One must inquire. Atato Brahma Jignas. This inquiry should go on till our last. till we perfect come to the Krishna Prema stage, this inquiry will go on. Inquisitive ones, they will always inquire. So, what stage I'm in, what stage next I will go. So, this is what introspective stage. This is what we're also, as practitioners, also we're also in some situation where Yanisha is happening, ignorance is happening. We are also sleeping. We're not realizing what stage I'm in, what stage, next stage, how can I go? I'm in आदौ श्रद्धा तथा साधु संगो तथा भजन क्रिया अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात्. What anarthas is blocking me to go to the next level? Why am I only chanting 4 rounds? Why am I can't 16 rounds? If I am chanting 16 rounds, why I am not able to chant attentively 16 rounds? Why am I not feeling the actually taste for it? What is causing me? We have to introspect what activities is causing me. What is that attitude is taking me? What my mind is dwelling on? Day in, day out, what my mind is dwelling on? Is it dwelling on Krishna? Is it dwelling on what Prabhupada says? Is it dwelling on something else? What is it doing? So how can I divert that? These things has to be contemplation, has to be there. Meditation, contemplation, reflection, introspection, these things are mentioned in Nectar of Instruction, verse number 8, purport. Only one who is sufficiently hearing, then only he can do this process. Then Sravana leads to Manana, Manana leads to Niridhyasana. So on the Smarana, Smaranavastha, and then Samadhi, as in this particular section is laid out. That's how it is going. This is the way it is explained here. It also means these verses are not. We should not think that I am already following the process. These verses are not for me. I am already self-realized. These verses are for those who are not accepted. No, actually, these verses are also for us. We are not fully self-realized. Otherwise, why we are not able to wake up? Why we are not able to chant? That means I am still in a condition stage. That means I have to do something to fix that problem. Uh, what is that consistently not delaying? That means we have to constantly fix our daily activities. What is taking me away from the Lord? So there should be balance. So 8 to 10 hours work, at least Prabhupada is saying that 24 hours is okay, 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, even if you think that 16 hours, okay, 4 hours for taking bath and eating, okay, 8, 8, 4, 20 hours, 4 hours. At least engage these 4 hours. Okay, can you do 2 hours at least? Can you chant the holy name? 1.5 to 2 hours it takes. Can you do that? Prabhupada is telling, but most of the time people don't have time because the time is invested in so many things. This has to be balanced. Western persons are balancing, isn't it? They will only work, most of them work only 8 to 10 hours at the best, generally 8 hours. They will engage in their personal enjoyment and all. The same way, we self-realized person, we should realize that ultimate goal of life is not to live like this, and at the end of life, then will be has to we will not even get even for the next life if we do that. So that's why we have to realize it, change the way we do it on daily basis. We should only work in a balanced way, and we should know how to say no in the office. Corporate world, this has been trained. This training is also given for this, how to say no, not that simply accept. They're not going to promote us. How many people are getting promoted regularly for their work? Very few, very few. So then what makes us think keep working like anything? Still, you'll get the same result, same bonus, same thing. It doesn't change much. So that we have to work smartly. How to balance. We don't know, then it will affect our actual Krishna consciousness. It will affect our happiness. That is the problem. First, we'll not be happy with our life. When we are not happy, mind is always in anxiety. Mind will be not be subdued. That means intelligence mind will always cause problem because we are not happy. Mm. But the Krishna conscious person will always be happy, no matter what is going on in his life. Will take the steps to serve the Lord. Take step how to increase the happiness to the Lord. So that's what this verse means. Previous verses. clearly telling about this one who is self-satisfied by the taking, always giving the mercy, taking the mercy of the Lord by serving the Lord is getting the mercy. That's why he is very much satisfied. Not only just prasadam, taking darshan or physical service, distributing books, so many things. All these are giving the service to the Lord and is represented taking the mercy of the Lord. By that, his buddhi, his intelligence is sharpened, the mind is subdued, and then senses are controlled. If that is not done, not just once a week, every day is supposed to be done. We may start once a week, once a month, or twice a month, whatever we should start somewhere. If you're not doing it, we should pick up. Doesn't matter whether you're initiated, not initiated, ample opportunities are there everywhere, wherever you go, India or US, everywhere. Everyone can be purified. That's how Prabhupada purified all this world. Kirata Hunanda Pulinda Pokasa, Veera Samba Yavanaksha, Neja Papa Edu Pashraya Ashraya. Suddhant Prabhu Vaishnava. That means Russians are there, Mongolians are there, Chinese are there, Japanese is there, Andhra, Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. All, everyone is included in that. All living entities, doesn't matter what they're eating, what they're drinking, how they are living life. What is done is done. Now, if they take to the shelter of the Lord, Innecha Papa Edu Pashraya Suddhanti Prabha Vishnavenam. Vishnavenam. If they take the shelter of the Lord, Vishnu, and his representative, then Suddhanti. Immediately purification is started. If they don't take shelter of the Lord and his representative regularly, it means every day one has to take shelter and follow. Shelter means one should remember, meditate. We chant this, we Vashtika prayers and Samsara Dava 3 times a day. That means chanting is there, that we should do. But following that instruction also, whatever Prabhupada says in his instruction, what we should do as a devotees, that should be also meditated upon. What can I do? Prabhupada says these many things, 10, 20 things regularly. In that, what can I do immediately? In few weeks, few months in this year, what can I take to the next? Okay, I'm already doing for last few years. What can I take next? This is always the person who is always on the path of self is always thinking further. He doesn't stick at the same level. He's going to the next level. He's always thinking how to correct and improve the existing level, and he's thinking about the next level. Otherwise, it's always this is happening. Yanisha sarvabhutana tasyam jagrasam. We are not awakened to the self-realization. Seemingly, we are on the path of self-realization, but we are not realizing what we are supposed to do and how we should conduct ourselves. That we are not realizing. Then that means we are also in some times in the sleeping condition. So that we should awaken it. We should awaken it. Until we come to the path of perfection, completely Krishna Prema, this has to go on. So this detection has to be there. Detection of our activities which are binding, activities which are not conducive to Krishna consciousness, activities which are taking us away from Krishna, always bringing the contemplation, dhyayato vishayantam sangasteshu puja, always bringing the contemplation on the material objects. We have to realize how much time actually I'm chanting this many 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours, one round to 16, depend, doesn't matter. And the rest of the time, what's going on, where my contemplation is going, that we have to see. Definitely, we have to observe and see how I can change it. We can only change if we are effectively serving. That is the first point. Effectively, physically serving the Lord and Guru, and effectively also following the instructions of the spiritual master and the acharyas. These two things has to be done. So if you are not doing that, that we should start doing it on a regular basis. Both has to be done. So as Prabhupada said, morning Bhagavata, evening Bhagavata, this has to be done in the association of devotees regularly. And we should read these books. It can be, 10 minutes, whatever timing we can, according to our time, we should divide, and then according to our lifestyle in balance, and then adjust those. Put those blocks. People block. If you see Western people calendar, they will block private time. Even in the office calendar also, if you see many times they put private time. That means their personal time, whatever they have to meet, they have a party, whatever they may be, kids activities. We should also block that. We should have 24 hours in a day It is blocked for certain that time is only meant for that. Nothing else. Nothing else. Then you can do it. If you don't block it, that time day will go by, next day will come. That means the sleeping condition is there still. Ya Nisha Sarvabhutana is happening with us also. That has to be rectified. So, but Prabhupada's, you will look at Prabhupada's timing every day, same time. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, same time. All the great devotees, they wake up same time, exactly same time. When they do everything, every day same. Almost. Mukunda Datta Prabhu was there. The many sadhus, many advanced devotees visited our place, our home. And then we could see that. Timing very strictly they follow. The same routine every day. Uh, so this is there. That means same routine of chanting is there, hearing is there, reading is there, deity worship is there. All these things are there. And their service is preaching. So they do that. They're not doing that, there should be a physical service also. Most of the times we are not preaching. Then what do we do? Then we have to engage in physical service. So these things has to be thought through. That's what. Then we can't. Then mind will not be allowed to sleep because where is the time? We will not have time to think of things. Then mind will always be concentrating on the holy name, concentrating on the Lord service, concentrating on giving pleasure to the Lord. Otherwise, we are constantly meditating on material objects and we are constantly planning for ourselves. We are not going by the plan of the Supreme Lord or the Srila Prabhupada or our spiritual master. Even though Prabhupada is how many times Prabhupada repeated. Prabhupada told that my spiritual master has told so many times, but I was thinking I couldn't take it immediately. Prabhupada was keep on thinking, then he took it. So same thing we hear from our spiritual masters also. Repeatedly, Prabhupada has given these many instructions how we are going to execute. Who can take it up? Younger generation or Sarvatrik Prabhu is telling in Prabhupada glorification. Are you all ready? He's telling, he's asking the audience who was there in that program. Are you all ready? How many of you are ready to take up? So Prabhupada instruction. Take it on, take this movement on. So that is the reality. And we should be taking forward. That means we should be ready to offer ourselves, our services, our activity, our time, our resources, our body, mind, everything. This is what actually, this is the awakening stage for us. Otherwise, the sleeping stage still there. Some cells, some time we are sleeping. We are not awakened to Krishna consciousness. So that's what, in essence, today's was. So in reality, we should mold our life in such a way that every day, specific times of the day, we should fix it up. Festival means more time should be categorized. We should accordingly plan ahead of the time. And I always remind. That's why I always remind. So many times I remind. Still, we can do it. September 11th, again I repeat now. September 11th is Radhastami. September 14th is, I think, Ekadasi. And then after that, also after Ekadasi, almost till Tuesday, I think. Immediately Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance is there. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Viswarup Mahotsav taking sannyas. Very important. 3 days after from Ekadasi all the way till Dwadasi, I think. 3 or 4 days, very important days. Radhastami is supremely important. September fasting till noon that day. Wednesday it is actually is Wednesday. So this has to be planned ahead of the time. That means we should attend Mangalarati all these auspicious days. So should try to attend as much. It's going to be tough, but if we have to plan. Okay, if we cannot attend Mangalarati, what I'm going to do? What other things we can do? How to plan? We have to plan now. 2 weeks, 1 month in advance. We have to plan now. November Kartik month is going to come up. What I'm going to do? How I'm going to do? Anyway, 4 months we are not able to follow. Most of the people don't follow Chaturmas. So because otherwise, there's restriction in eating, restriction increasing the spiritual activities in 4 months. Okay, within 4 months you can do. Okay, do at least 1 month Kartik, November, October 12th or so. Ramachandra Vijay also is there. After that, this will start. I think around that time, yeah, before or here and there, around that time it starts. Kartik month, Damodar month, Urja Vrata to November 5th, 6th, 10th, like that, 1 month. At that time, if you cannot even do that whole month, then the 5 days based on Panchak, last 5 days. Now, the Shastra is giving so many concessions, concessions after concession. Prabhupada gives even more further concessions. Okay, if you can't do this, do this. If you fall down, also still do this. It was so merciful, but still we are not ready. We still go with our individual plans, independent plans. From beginning to end, we are not ready to fully submit and follow their plan. So that's where the problem is. Then anxiety will be there. Only when we follow spiritual master Sampradaya Acharya's plan, then only anxiety will stop. Until that, anxiety will go on. There is no way we can stop. Anarthas cannot be checked either. Anartha upasam sakshat bhakti yogam adokshari. Lokasya janato vidvat chakre sattva samhitam. Anarthas can be only mitigated if you stick to the Bhagavad Vidhi, Bhagavad Prasa. That Bhagavad Vidhi is given by Prabhupada. Sampradaya Acharya gives what is that Bhagavad Vidhi, what you are supposed to do. You can know, how do you know? Otherwise, Bhagavatam is speaking so many things. Can you do all of them? 64 items, can you execute every day? No. Can you do 64 items every day in Upachar when you are worshipping a small deity? You can do it. And Prana Pratishtha itself supposed to be done, 64 items supposed to be offered. This is supposed to be done every day. Most of the temple cannot do it. So how much can you? So that's why we have to follow what Prabhupada says, what Prabhupada gives. This is what you should do every day. Festival, this is what you should do. Prabhupada clearly laid out on all these things. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sanatan, please write how Janmashtami should be done, how Ramnavami should be celebrated, how Narsingha Chaturthi should be. Please write how to celebrate. He knows what's going to happen in Kali Yuga, how much we are, and I'm not attracted by the worldly things. So that's why he's asking him to write. For them, they don't need to write because they know they are every day, they are festival or not festival, every day they are engaging. Prabhupada and all these, uh, the pure devotees also, they're always saying, for us only. All these books are written for us only. What is that we should do on festival? What is that every day we should do? This is what prescribed. This is what actually our awakening, Jagrati stage. Then the rivers are controlled, the oceans like rivers are desires are entering it. Desires you can't stop. Desires will keep coming. Almost when we come to until the anarthas are kicked out, anartha nishta, ruchi, asakti. When we come to those stages, higher stages, then the desires will stop. Material desires. But until that, the material desires will keep coming because we are constant in material association. Then by that association we will keep reviving. We have done certain things 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago in the past lives. Those thoughts will invoke, inspire, again it will bring into the front, to the mind. Again we delve into it. Then the Yanisha is happening, that's why. Then the rivers are entering ocean, it is fixed up, it doesn't move. But we are agitated. Rivers get agitated, lakes are get agitated when the rain, hurricanes are there. It is overfilled in this country, especially in New Jersey, everywhere. It floods, flood warning everywhere. You'll get on the cell phone. Why? This is why. So this is what is happening with us also. That should remind us how much it is flooding. My heart and mind and senses are flooding with so many thoughts. It's evoking all the on materialistic association. The way we are in this society is always evoking the unwanted consciousness. Always. So if you don't subcharge with global consciousness, Krishna consciousness, then naturally these will disrupt our Krishna conscious life and we'll fall down from the our practice. We'll give up our practice. So that's why we should be very clear with our day-to-day activities, and we should plan it either on the cell phone. We should put reminders on the cell phone. We should put a stick board, sticky notes on our room, on our computer, whatever we need to do. Somehow or the other, instruct the mind that no, at this time, this is the only thing you should do, not something else. So you have to come to that kind of planning, very strict. Then we may miss here and there, but we keep balancing, bringing back to the same regularly. This is what Yanisha Sarvabhutana. I could have just spoke what is there in the purport just right. But what it means, every stage of devotee, each verse means something else. Depending on our level of consciousness, we have to fix so many things in our. So all these verses have the meaning for every one of us. For Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi, for Bhakti Yogi, different levels of consciousness. This is there. So that's what it means. Now, anyone has questions? Then we have to go to the next class already late. Anyone has questions on this verses on this subject what we discussed? Go ahead. If you don't ask questions, then we can know what's going on in your minds. Then we can fix the problem.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful class. Prabhuji, what is next class?
Next class is Bhagavad Gita class, verse number chapter number 8, attaining the supreme. We are in
So
the
same Zoom link, this
yes.
one?
No,
Okay.
actually different Zoom link. Someone will send you the link. Ananda or Ashish Kirana Prabhu can send.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anyone has a question?
Hare Krishna,
If
Prabhuji.
not,
Dhamma Pranam Guru
yes.
Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I have a question. It's like as you're saying, like you gave us a very nice protocol about how to follow during the festivals, and also we are actually trying our level best, like to engage ourselves in doing services. But there's certain like things just come up because of like with the family obligations. We have to go somewhere that we don't want to go, but eventually we have to go.
For sure.
As you said that I really like the idea, like you give your like you time yourself, don't waste much time. Basically time is precious, so in that case, like we can also time ourselves by being outside to the worldly matters affairs that we have to engage with the people and you don't have any option.
Yes. Yeah. But family life also, in one sense, in the beginning, may be a little bit difficult because we may see like a material activities, but the self-realized person, so many examples. Our Henry Ford grandson Ambaresh Prabhu is married, has a wife. Both are executing Krishna consciousness. That's a plus point. So, or maybe only husband is Krishna conscious, wife is not Krishna conscious. Then what do you do about it? But still, the person who is at the highest level or during the practice, you will see that also as a Krishna's duty, Krishna's activity. Initially, it may be tough to see it in that way, but gradually you can see it. But he will be thinking of the Lord as whatever he may have to take care. Take care of the kids' activities or taking them somewhere or going somewhere. So you balance it, you adjust it wherever you can. You discuss, you share, and you cooperate and you work together. Sometimes we may be able to do, sometimes we may not be able to do. Whatever we say that because you have to give time to the others also. They may not be aligned with Shastra and Sadhana group. Sometimes we may have to go. So we do that in the office, aren't we? We have to go to the parties, office parties. We have to meet and collaborate, whatnot. We can't avoid that. What will you do at that time? Then you may spend limited time, and you may do what is best. I used to take Bhagavad Gita with me, pocket. Otherwise, on the cell phone, I used to read. I'm talking to them, but on the cell phone, I'm looking at it and I'm meditating on those verses. So like that, or I used to, sometimes even I used to take books and distribute there. Sometimes even to the CEO, CIO also. Yeah, Krishna will give inclination and intelligence what we should do, what we should not do, how to do it. So you see that is opportunity for serving Krishna. So yeah, sometimes it is easy, sometimes it is difficult. Some situations are not so easy to think of Krishna at all. But it's a gradual process. One who comes to the path of self-realization, he will see everything as in relation with Krishna. He doesn't see now this is my wife's activity, this is my children's activity, this is material, this is then he doesn't because everything he sees in relation with the Lord. And so, but it takes long practice to come to that stage. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but that means that when you are in this kind of gathering, then like the material gatherings, what is the state of mind should be? As you said that to think here in your mind, but there's so much of people around, and
yeah,
how you do it, like because I mean, in your mind, you are just like observer, being the observer there, or just see Krishna in everyone. What should be the state of mind in this case?
yeah, different consciousness can run. Definitely, before we go out like this, definitely if we are engaged in proper either chanting or reading a verse or hearing a class, something which will help to be focused, not mind is diverting, or otherwise we may start eating too. Uh, we can take only a drink or something which is Krishna conscious, not indulging in the same activities what they do. Because when you go out with family or the rest of the members, you have to do the same thing, or you have to do company, give company. Then what time, what you'll do? You also have to do something. So that time, if you are controlled, if you are reading a heard class or something, then you are in that contemplation. So it will allow you to be balanced and do. Even though they may force you to do, hey, take. You may not take, or to just satisfy, then you may take something, ginger ale or something, whatever, salad, whatever is favorable and convenient. So, but the mind will be absorbed in the what we heard, what we did in the morning, or what is next phase. So, in this way, we'll observe, and we'll also observe like Prabhupada is observing. Oh, this mode is what this is what is happening. They are the passion is what passion is in the works, ignorance is in the works here. He sees how three modes of material nature is working. So how I can also control this mode within me. I have also some passion is there, some ignorance is still there in my heart. How can I do that? So different ways we can look at with the situation where we are in. We can also contemplate what's going on, but it's difficult unless we uh, throughout that day before we going there, we are engaged in certain activities. It is difficult to contemplate like that when we are in these situations. We'll generally be overpowered. If we are properly situated, then we can overpower them. Uh, but generally, most of the time, that situation will overpower our consciousness. We'll be drowned in that ignorance as well many times. But as the practice goes by, then opposite will happen. So it's a gradual process.